Employment and Workplace Relation Minister and Queensland Senator Murray Watt joins me live now. Appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on the program. Is this something that you support, mandatory prison sentences for synagogue attacks, Senator?
Well, good morning, Kenny. Good to be with you. Well, obviously the states will take into account what they do around mandatory sentences, but what we've done at a federal level is introduce for the first time serious penalties for people displaying hate slogans and that kind of thing around the country. So it's good that those penalties are in place at a national level. Of course, we've also provided tens of millions of dollars in funding towards Jewish communities to improve security around Jewish schools and synagogues. So the bottom line is there's absolutely no place for this kind of behaviour, and I'm glad that we've now got some more serious penalties in place to deal with it.
Yeah, they don't seem to be working though.
Well, unfortunately, there is an issue when it comes to anti-Semitism in Australia, and we all need to work together as a community to stamp it out. I certainly hope that the police catch the people who've been involved in these incidents and absolutely throw the book at them. They deserve to pay a price for this kind of behaviour. No one in our community should be living in fear because of their religion or any other matter. So this kind of behaviour has got to stop, and I hope that the penalties that we've introduced will go some way towards deterring people from doing this kind of thing.
Foreign Minister Penny Wong will travel to the United States for Donald Trump's inauguration. Why isn't the Prime Minister going?
Well, my understanding is that Penny Wong has been invited to attend as the Foreign Minister, and further it's my understanding that ordinarily countries are represented by their ambassadors at these kind of events. So I think it's great that Penny Wong as the Foreign Minister has been invited to attend, and I think she'll acquit herself very well in representing our country. Of course, the US is our strongest ally, our greatest friend, so I think it's great that Australia will be represented at such a senior level.
Do you think that the fact that Kevin Rudd and Penny Wong were invited to the ceremony is a good sign that Donald Trump has forgotten about previous comments they made in the past?
Well, I think it's always encouraging to see the US reach out to Australia in the kind of way that they have here. And you will have seen that ever since Donald Trump won the election recently, we've made clear that we're keen to work with him and his administration as a government. Of course, the alliance between Australia and the US goes beyond any one individual president or prime minister. It's been around for decades. It's the bedrock of our security arrangements. And as a government, we want to see that continue.
To Opposition Leader Peter Dutton's election priorities that he outlined yesterday, he wants to ban foreigners from buying Aussie homes for 2 years. Do you think that this would be a good circuit breaker for the housing market?
Well, this, along with everything else that Peter Dutton said yesterday, are things that he's announced months ago. This wasn't a new announcement, and I remember at the time when he made that announcement, economists and property commentators made the point that this would actually relieve very few houses in Australia. What we've actually needed to do in Australia for our housing problem is build more homes, and the reality is that Peter Dutton has blocked that at every step of the way. Every time that we have tried to introduce legislation to deliver more homes at a federal level, Peter Dutton and the coalition have voted against it. And I think more generally with his speech yesterday, I think Australians will be really disappointed that after weeks on holidays, the best he could come back with is reheated policies that he's already announced. Not one new solution for the cost of living pressures that Australians are under. And in fact, what we learned from his speech yesterday is that if he wins the election, he plans to cut wages, make more people casual employees rather than permanent, jack up power bills with his nuclear plan, and take the axe to Medicare. So none of those things are going to help people with their cost of living pressures. They'll actually make them worse.
Senator Murray Watt, appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Hopefully speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Kenny.